I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to make a vlog upload about this because like it was around this season over like over 15 years ago. Um, let's see. Like back when I was on dot dot village, like I for like a certain amount of like site points, you can broadcast your message onto the front page. And there was like a cute little back and forth exchange between me and this girl, and we're gonna call her November Rain because that was her username. So it was around, it was literally around September, Octoberish, about now this year. I had just like taken off and had a boom on the dot dot village. Dot dot village was a really weird and unique uh social media page because like you can gain these items. So I would say like these were like NFTs before NFTs were a thing, but like you gain these items and then like you can trade them amongst different users. It was weird. It was a weird concept because I don't know what the hell you did with these items. Anyways, that's not the point. Point was me and this girl, November Rain, were sharing messages on the front page, adding each other, basically saying like um I think she said that, like Katamari Damashi. That was my username at the time. She says like Katamari Damashi. Use a cutie. It's like I think use a cutie, and I said November Rain. I think like I think use a hottie, and we had these cute little exchanges, and we got to talking, and then we found out that like we only lived like a half-hour drive from city to city apart. Um, the only issue was at that time, um, like I had no car. This was after my like my after my first accident. I didn't have a car. Basically, how I was getting around to meeting people and seeing my friends was I was taking a Greyhound bus to go from city to city. Um, so um, what had happened was I think I would have her meet me or something like that. No, what would happen was I would take the Greyhound from my city to get to her city, and then I would have to take a cab from there to get to her place, and then we would hang out. And the exchange for us to get to this point was like really weird because I think she was um I think she was getting over somebody at the time too. And then we started talking. It was like we never made anything like official between us or anything like that, but like there was like this mutual like I guess like understanding that like we've kind of like needed each other's company or something like that. And so we hung out, we went on walks together. There was not much we could do. We didn't have a car unless like she asked her parents to take out their car. And there were times that she did. There were times that I came over and she would there was mutual interest, yeah. So like obviously we were into each other, but like we didn't know what to go about it because like she had just gotten out of a relationship. I don't think she wanted to jump into something official and so intense right away. That makes sense. So we were just having a good feel out period of just seeing how things went. And things were okay. Like we had great conversations on MSN. Like we sat there on webcams and we just sat there just like listening to music together, exchanging great dialogue or like having great conversations, and which led us to meeting in person. Um, so yeah, amongst meeting that, like we went out together. We went out walks. We went out to places to eat together in her town. There was I think maybe two nights that I spent over at her place, just sleeping in the living room. their parents, for what it's worth though, were super accommodating and super nice to me. Um, because like I don't know if they understood the situation or because like the way I was introduced to them was like I was a friend and I was teaching their daughter how to drive. And then in which like in funny dialogue I taught her how to drive while we were out together and I was driving the car and everything like that. So like we were going out places and it was great. There were times we just sat in the car, like I think we just kind of like held each other. We had to get out of the house because like we didn't want her parents. I'm pretty sure they suspect, but at the same time, like it wasn't that they fronted or they were against. Like they really liked me. They really enjoyed, I guess like whenever I showed up. Hell, they even drove me back to the bus station themselves to make sure that like I got to the bus station and I went home safely. So there was no like when like parents say like I don't like this person, like there was none of that. I remember on one night, I think on one of the nights I spent over, like I think I remember her kind of like right I think like right in the peak of the morning period after her dad had left for his morning walk. Like she snuck into the living room and then she just kind of like I don't know, because I was on the couch and then like she just kind of like sat on the floor by the couch and just kind of like kind of rested up on me, and I think I just like hugged her or whatever, and that just went on for like I don't know, half an hour. But there was I remember this lasted a pretty long time actually. This whole back and forth thing, it lasted I think like 3 months or something like that, 3-4 months. I forgot when it ended. I'll be brutally honest, like because like I don't think it was sudden, but like it got to a point where eventually we just kind of like drifted, but not in a bad way. But I think it just got to a point where it's like, I think she's gotten over things and she wanted to move forward in her way. And I think I was just like, okay, well, I guess I need to accept, what's going on and just go my way. And like there was no fighting, there was no like there's no hatred. Obviously, there's just no. But obviously, like if from the outside looking in, listening to the story, you would say, this is such a huge fucking open end with no closure. But it is what it is, and it came about like that. Because I remember this lasting all the way up to 3 months. If this did start September, October, November, we got into November because I went to her birthday with her friends, and we went to a place called Symposium, which is like a niche little dessert cafe. And then I remember being really socially awkward because like it was my first time meeting her friends, and she had brought me there, and to be honest, like I didn't know how to act. Like I just sat there, I was just like being quiet and socially awkward, and I was just like oh gosh, like but like I was sitting beside her, and like I was holding her hand beside her, not out in the open, but like we would have like your hands like beside the table or something like that, and you would just like holding each other's hands, sort of. That's that sort of shit. um yeah, after that brief period, after we went our separate ways, it was just like that was it. And then like I was what reminded me so hard about this was like I had drove to work recently, and I just took a look at the Valley of Trees changing color, the feel, I guess like the feel of the weather, the atmosphere, like just like the feel of like the autumn air, like the nice like sky blue with like like no clouds, and I'm just like I'm drinking it in, and the more I drink in, the more it takes me back to that period, and I'm just like it was a great period, great period of my youth where like where I met a great girl. What was great about her is like she was tall. She was taller than me, so she was tall. She was a model. And she was super beautiful, by the way. I wish I had pictures, but I don't. But like I remember her being like super beautiful. Like I saw her and her sister, like her and her sister look nothing alike, and I was just like, how are y'all sisters? Like, shit. Like her sister was smaller. Her sister was kind of like more on my level of height, maybe a little bit shorter, but like, and she was the older sister too. Scenery does that. Scenery does like when, like, it does remind you of such like such like great times that happened in your life, and it's weird. I don't know if it's weird, but like, it's for me. It's just like I'm just driving and just kind of drinking it because that's what driving does for me. Like driving is like my big escape to just like be alone with my feelings and my thoughts. That's how for me, like I just kind of like drink everything, and like when I go driving on the highway, when you look at the sky, like whether it be nice clear blue sky or like an orange sky when the sun's setting, like these are just things like you just take in and like this feels right, this feels right spiritually and mentally, like you're at ease, you know what I mean? And that's what driving does for me. I don't know if anybody had read a tweet that I put out a little while ago. Like the first time I went highway driving in a while since pandemic, I was just like, man, something about this just felt right. Like, this is like, where I belong on the road. I always believed myself to be like a traveler, but it's only like, on the ground instead of the air or something like that. Like other people, when they say, oh, I travel, but I fly places. But for me, it's like, I love being in my car. I love driving to different places, meeting new people, and making friends. And so, I will be driving down these things and I'll be like fucking dead smack in the face with scenery and just be like, oh shit, oh. This takes me back to the time. I got a story, guys. I got a story to tell y'all. And that's it. Like, you're gonna build some experiences. Granted, they're not... sometimes they're not going to be good experiences. A lot of the times there will be great experiences, but like it's a lot of the times where you felt you had to go out and seek something. Like you can't just sit and expect things to come to you. Like you had to be the one to be the adventure seeker, to be the one that starts the adventure. And that's what I felt a lot of my high school life, starting in grade 10, 11. That was just me going out there to to meet people, to create adventures, create memories. And I have like virtually no regrets about that whole entire period, about me going out, meeting and dating girls, or like meeting friends and all this stuff. And like a lot of that stuff sounds great. Also within that time period, like I wasn't that great of a person. I could be to some people, but there were some people like I could have been an asshole too. When I look back at it, like I had a lot of great memories with a lot of things, but there were a lot of times I felt like a lot of shame and a lot of remorse for how I was projecting myself towards people who I would deem my friends, and how I've alienated myself away from a lot of people. Because like you're gonna say like, well, at least you grew and you acknowledge it and you moved on and you became better. True. To be honest, like I'll be briefly honest, like I don't think I'm that much better of a person. I think I'm just trying to be less of that asshole that I was before, if that makes any sense. Because like now I am consciously aware that I'm this asshole, but you don't want to be that asshole. I can be that asshole, but I don't want to be that asshole. Like I've gotten a lot better to acknowledging it and to use it to however see it, and obviously to acknowledge, trying to see the signs and acknowledge the signs that my friends are giving me, that like that I am hurting them, and like what I do and say actually affects them. Obviously, it's still going on to this day. I'm not saying at this very moment, but like, you know, I could be working with coworkers or something like that, or I could have friends somewhere in my group chats, and then they could be hurt and offended with what I do and what I say. And I can't, you know, obviously, like, you know, it won't, I won't know this until like it's brought to my attention, or like, you know, unless I approach somebody with it, but I hope not. We went through this whole entire ordeal, but like what I think what kind of sucks is just like, you know, nobody says anything about it. I think a lot of the times it's like a lot of people are okay with just like, you know, moving on without me. It's just like, you know, I used to be in so many groups, and it's just like a group of friends where like, you know, I know I would be the obnoxious asshole, and then they would still be hanging out and everything. They would do the same things that we would all do, but like, you know, they wouldn't tell me about it. Like, they won't let me know of the plans or what when they're hanging out and stuff like that. Eventually you get the hint and you're just like, okay, like whatever. But you know, obviously you being the side like getting hurt, but also at the same time you don't understand what's going on. But then you come to realize it's like, oh shit, I was an asshole. I know be a bad person, but try not to be that person. I can acknowledge anything being bad. I can even be a... Exactly. So like, it's not like we want to be the bad person all the time. Like, we don't want to be that asshole all the time. And sometimes we become that asshole without knowing that we're becoming that asshole, because like sometimes you're in a moment where like, you know, when someone has said something and you're just rolling off of that, you're rolling off that snowball, and it's getting just larger and larger, and all of a sudden, like, you know, it just knocks down that wall and it just lets out your ugly side. I'm not I'm saying some part of me is like, it's okay, but it's not okay. Like, you have to acknowledge, like, you know, when you're going too far, and acknowledging it and catching yourself in the act and apologizing for it on spot for it even happening. I think a lot of people are, like, you know, myself included, can be oblivious to that. Also at the same time can acknowledge when something's happening, when you can read the room, and, you know, obviously call yourself out and try to make amends. Sometimes you can't, and then sometimes you just need help, and that's, you know, hoping that your friends are, you know, are as tight as you guys think you are, would be able to call you out and tell you what's up, and that'd be fine, because like, you know, real friends aren't afraid to call people out on shit when things are going on. And I'm not saying what that's in relation to what happened this year, but like, you know, what might have happened for me 15-20 years ago. And it's like, you know, it's not that I mean to do this stuff, like, you know, like, but it's weird to that for like, despite knowing that when things are getting awkward but you're still going, but no one's calling you out on your shit. Not John, a few days ago, you yeah, wish I had growing up. That's the thing. We're starting to discover what we want for ourselves and what we want to project onto others. It's not selfish to do, you know, to kind of want something and give something at the same time. Just take your time. Again, the best way, like, you can't eliminate bad traits about yourself. That's embedded forever. Bad habits are there for you to stay. The only thing I can say is build and develop new habits that you've never done before. Because therefore, like, you know, you can have all these other new habits and traits overpower and be better than the traits you've had before. Therefore, when you're going out on your bad trait, you can call yourself out on it, and then just kind of redirect yourself to where you want to go and where you want to be and who you want to be. If that makes any sense. Like, it sucks to be the asshole, and it sucks to lose friends over stupid petty shit, and especially obviously things that you cause, but no one's willing to call you out or like, you know, willing to talk to you about it. It is what it is. Sometimes, you know, just let it rock. And, you know, if they're really your friends, if they really consider you a friend, you guys will eventually meet in the middle of a bridge. You guys will have this conversation. You guys will squash the beef and be done with it. But if you guys are not having that conversation, not even in the middle of the bridge, like, you know, then you guys aren't as tight as you guys think you are. Oh, sorry, chat. I'm just like reading up on messages right now. Getting blasted. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about is yeah, I mean, I just want to kind of like share how I'm feeling, you know, project how I'm sharing how I'm feeling, and hopefully, like, you know, someone out there will also feel the same way and say, you know what, we can have a great conversation about this. No, but I think this is a great talk to kind of go off on, and yeah, the peak times of social media and friendships and stuff like that, it's great to, like, I would say, you know, reminisce and to say, like, you know, despite their, you know, me being a shitty person at times with certain people, you know, there's a silver lining, and, like, you know, of meeting different types of people and having different types of experiences and having great experiences. I wonder if I have the no, I think it's on the other computer where I have the exchange of the messages. I only have, I think, just one though. Just one. I only screen capped one because, like, these were on a really old computer, and I remember, like, you know, something awful happening with it and just losing a lot of memories and being sad about it. One of the sad things that happened too was, like, after I had my accident, I bought a beater car for like $300, and instantly one day I lost it. It got towed away, and I didn't remember what the license plate was because it wasn't like one that I actively remember, and I couldn't get my car back, and it had all my shit in there after, like, I had, like, left the house, and I was like a depressed kid. It had a lot of great memories in there too. I wish I had remembered and taken with me. And then, like, I was like so crushed, so defeated. Like, I had to go back home with a blank slate and, like, nothing. I had basically it had changed me. That the moment, like, humbled me so much in a way where, like, I had to, you know, change a bit of who I was. And it started with a wardrobe, because now it became a poster boy for Old Navy. Before I became an Adidas poster boy. Oh, man. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of listening to my sob stories about good times and memories. Did you guys enjoy today's episode? Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up on the video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, and make sure you guys turn on notifications to let you guys know whenever we have a new video here on this channel. We have our live streams now on twitch.tv/epikism with an underscore underneath of it. And yeah, we got videos here and videos there. Until then, I'll see you guys later.